Umagyanatimirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshurnimitanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So we're here with Suvasni Didi and friends, continuing with our study discussion of Śaraṇāgati. And we are in the section Goptritre Vadan, embracing the Lord's guardianship. And we have come to the second song in that section. It's verse number 18 in the playlist, Dada Putra Nija Deha. Oh, but I did not actually open up the text. So that's my bad, because we do want to follow the text. Well, while I'm gonna play Srila Gurudev singing Ki Jani Ki Bole while you're waiting for me to bring it. I'm gonna play it. Yes, please. Recording night. Archive. Okay, so now we're moving on to this next song.
Dara putra nijo deho kutumba palone. Dara putra nijo deho kutumba palone. Sarvoda bekulo ami chinu mone mone. Sarvoda bekulo ami chinu mone mone. কেমনে ও জীব অত যশ কিসে পাবো কেমনে ও জীব অত যশ কিসে পাবো কন্যা পুত্র বিবাহ কেমনে সম্পাদিব কন্যা পুত্র বিবাহ কেমনে সম্পাদিব দেবে আত্মসমর্পণে চিন্তা নাহি আর দেবে আত্মসমর্পণে চিন্তা নাহি আর তুমি নির্বাহিবে প্রভু সংসার তোমার তুমি নির্বাহিবে প্রভু সংসার তোমার তুমি তো পালিবে মুরে নিজ দাস জানি তুমি তো পালিবে মুরে নিজ দাস জানি তোমার সেবায় প্রভু বড় সুখ মানি তোমার সেবায় প্রভু বড় সুখ মানি তোমার ইচ্ছায় প্রভু সর্বকার্য হয় তোমার ইচ্ছায় প্রভু সর্বকার্য হয় জীব বলে করি আমি সেও সত্য নয় জীব বলে করি আমি সেও সত্য নয় জীব কি করিতে পারে তুমি না করিলে জীব কি করিতে পারে তুমি না করিলে আশা মাত্র জীব করে তব ইচ্ছা ফলে আশা মাত্র জীব করে তব ইচ্ছা ফলে নিশ্চিন্ত হইয়া আমি সে বিগত মায় নিশ্চিন্ত হইয়া আমি সে বিগত মায় গৃহে ভালো মন্দ হলে নাহি মোর দায় গৃহে ভালো মন্দ হলে নাহি মোর দায় ভগতি বিনিয়োগ স্বতন্ত্র তেজিয়া ভগতি বিনিয়োগ নিজ স্বতন্ত্র তেজিয়া তোমার চরণ সেবে অকিঞ্চন হইয়া তোমার চরণ সেবে অকিঞ্চন হইয়া তোমার চরণ সেবে অকিঞ্চন হইয়া তোমার চরণ সেবে অকিঞ্চন হইয়া
Right, Hari Bol. Okay, well, Suvasini Didi, do you want to lead us in reading? Can you see the screen clearly?
Yes, I can see that complete screen now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Good. Dharaputra nija deha kutumba palane sarvada vyakula ami chinnu mane mane. Deep within, I was always anxious about the maintenance of my wife, children, body, and relatives. Khemane ajiba artha yasha kise bhaba kanya putra vivaha khemane sampadiba. How shall I earn money? How shall I attain fame? How will I arrange the marriages of my sons and daughters? Ebe atma samarpane chinta nahi ara. Tumi nirvahibe prabho samsara tomara. Now that I have fully offered myself, I have no more anxiety. You will maintain your household, O Lord. Tumit palibe more nija dasa jani tobara sevaya prabhu vada sukhamani. You will certainly maintain me, knowing me to be your servant. O Lord, in your service I feel the greatest joy. Tomara ichaya prabhu sabha karya haya jiva bale Ami Seta Satyanaya. All activity happens according to your will, O Lord. Yet souls think, I do. This is not at all true. And this is a commentary here on this verse by Sri Guru Maharaj. Jiva Bale Kari Ami Seta Satyanaya. Souls think I do. This is not at all true. Krishna explains this in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 3:27. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Actions in the world are affected in every respect by the modes of material nature. Yet, one deluded by false ego thinks, I am the doer. Jiva ki karite pare tuminang karile. Asha matra jiva kare tava ichha phale. What are the souls able to do if you do not act? The souls can only desire. It is your will alone that comes to pass. Nischintahaya ami seviba tomaya grihe bhala mandahale nahi mora daya. Free from all anxiety, I will serve you. Whatever happens in your household, be it good or bad, will not be my responsibility. Bhakti Vinoda Nija Swatantriya Tyajiya Tomara Charana Seve Akinchana Haya. Completely detached, Bhakti Vinod abandons his independence and serves your feet.
Right. Any thoughts, Suvasni, do you like to share?
It's so beautiful. You know, he says about, well, this is the anxiety, like, as you expressed last week, it is like Bhakti Vinod, like Gurudev says also, he expresses what we cannot express from our heart. So Bhakti Vinod, he's, this expression, whatever he is actually expressing, we are not able to, express completely, but it is so beautiful. It is our condition. But the one, when he says is free from anxiety, so that is really when you completely, surrender, then, there is no more anxiety. And then the next verse, I think the third verse, he says like, so now it is your household. He doesn't say it is my household anymore. It is like you maintain your household. So he was initially anxious, in the first two verses, how will I arrange the marriages of my, children and all that. But then when he's offering himself, then, he said, you will maintain your household. So that is no longer, it is, feeling that he has some separate family, like that. I have to do this, but it is all his. So.
Today I shared this quote on the internet, and it's a beautiful quote of Guru Dev, Srila Govinda Maharaj from Golden Reflections, and he's actually expressing this mood. Let me read. I'll read it here. Some of you may have seen it already. My nature. So this is Srila Govinda Maharaj. My nature is to be hopeful. Until death, I am hopeful, and after death also, I have no problem actually. When Srila Guru Maharaj gives us backing, then what problem can there be? Then he quotes this verse from Śaraṇāgati, Raksha karobi tuhu nishtoy jani, pana karobu hama jamuna pani. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, addressing Krishna, said in Śaraṇāgati, you must save us. It is your duty, I know. So what fear can I have? I can jump into the polluted waters of Kaliya's lake without fear, and I can do anything. In that way, enthusiasm must come inside the devotees who are associated with such transcendental knowledge. Krishna always gives us his association, and if we have the capacity, we can recognize it immediately. Now, this is what I was thinking of. When many problems are in front of me, I'm eager to solve everything immediately, but it is not possible immediately. Therefore, I sometimes feel some pain. At that time, I think, everything comes by the will of Krishna, so I should not be in too much anxiety about any situation. Krishna knows how to purify his devotee, and my only duty is that I must be a devotee's devotee. This also is always my intention. If everything will go in such a line, there will be no fear from anywhere, and our backing is very strong. Arshila Guru Maharaj. I mean, it's the supreme harmonizer, isn't it? Everything is happening by the will of Krishna. Right? His will is supreme, and he has, right, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He has so much love for us. So it is all good. Whatever happens, it is for some purpose, and it is good. Right? So it is if we can really embrace that, we will be free from all anxiety. This guardian consciousness, living in guardian consciousness. And I appreciated this this like detachment, like good or bad, it's not my responsibility anymore, right? I'm handing it all over to you. It's all on you, right? Like this is like karma yoga plus, right? Because in karma yoga, right, in the yoga of selfless action, this is the main principle, right? That we are just doing our duty and we are detached from the results of that. The main principle, the main point is to do a duty, and that our wealth is in that. That is our wealth, not in the particular results in the objective world. But in the practice of bhakti yoga, like that's kind of like that's a part of it, but then there's a plus, and that is that it's offered to Krishna. So I'm detached from my personal, gain or loss in any given situation, but I'm offering it to Krishna. It's all his responsibility. And there's a liberating feeling in that. It's a type of freedom, actually. It's a type of freedom to be able to live in that mentality. Like everything's screwed up, but that's okay. I know I did my duty. I tried, but maybe Krishna wants it like this. Krishna wants it to be a mess, and it's okay. And why do I need to care how others are going to judge me and make so many comments? Who actually cares? Is that important? What every other person thinks, right? So there's this wonderful freedom in being able to embrace that mentality. Completely detached, bhakti vinod, abandons his independence and serves your feet. And as we were discussing in our meeting yesterday, we may not be able to fully apply this type of surrender, but we can worship it, right? And there's great value in that. There's great value in being able to appreciate this ideal of life. Does anyone else want to add any further thoughts? Any questions in the group?
I struggle with that. It's like like how far do I go with trying? It's all like, oh, it's all Krishna's will, so I'll just gonna, like, for example, I'm in this situation and I have a lot of anxiety about, like, I have, like 1 week left my roommates are leaving, and if I don't, and I had all this time, but nothing is happening. I mean, there's a lot of people looking, but it's not, I haven't rented it. If I don't rent it, so how much do I, cling to it? How much do I let go? It's like every day I have this anxiety about it. I do what I can, and then the rest of the day I'm basically just taking care of that, emotionally, that I'm staying okay and not get all excited, anxiety about, like, oh, and then what? And then what? And then I don't have anywhere to live. And then, it's, I feel there is like a lifelong struggle of how much surrender do I do, and how much is it my duty to just do what I can and then stop, have faith, because that's what I'm trying to practice right now. So I'm seeing this also as an opportunity to really take my Krishna consciousness deeper, and not not go deeper into the fear of the material world, which is always in my neck. I feel like that's a human condition, I guess. And yeah, so yeah, I do feel there is like it's not harmonized yet for me. I'm not there.
I mean, it's a tricky one, Ganglila. It's something that we all struggle with, right? And it's, like how to square up practical necessities, right? Like what's in front of me here and now, I'm looking at this immediate need, right? Whatever it is, housing, food, money, how do I square up? And then also like having faith in the Lord, and how much effort am I meant to put into it, and how much am I just meant to let it go? And I think the two things come to my mind right now. One is that we have to have the faith that the Lord has some beautiful arrangement for us, right? It may not be beautiful in the sense that we would like, but beautiful in the sense that it will be conducive to further surrender and deeper connection with divinity, right? So we have to have that. This is the first thing, that we have to have the faith that no matter what, the Lord is there for us, and he does have a plan for us. It's just that it may not be what we were expecting or wanting from according to our limited vision, right? So then that brings us to the second point I wanted to bring up, that we have to be open. We have to be open to the possibility. We have to be open to there being another plan, right? Maybe the plan is that I live somewhere else, right? And there's some other very wonderful arrangement waiting for me in another place, in another situation, right? We're living in even in a mundane sense, right? Some of the greatest pioneers and inventors, right? Their greatest inventions, discoveries, they came out of extreme difficulty, right? Challenge. That's what pushes growth. So we have to think out of the box sometimes, and we have to try to see, where is the current actually taking me? I'm fixed on one particular idea of this is how it has to be. I'm fixed on this idea. But maybe the Lord has a completely different plan. Let me try to see how where the waves of the environment are directing me. Right? Let me be free of my own rigid desires, right? But try to see where is there another arrangement that's flowing for me? What are the different possibilities here? We want to try to be open, be open to that, and not to be too rigid in what we think, what is our conception of the Lord's protection, right? Is it this particular arrangement, or is it something deeper than that? So I think those are two very, very important things to remember. And I'm reminded of, I can't remember the Sanskrit right now, but there's one, Srila Sridhar Maharaj includes it, in Prapana Jivanamrita. I'm trying to find it now. I think it's in, here it is. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj's illumination here before the verse is Sarvata Harishmriti Rakshanam Eva Tatparyam. The fundamental objective is to maintain constant remembrance of Sri Hari in every time, place, and circumstance. And then this is the verse. Alabdeva vinashteva bhakshya chadana sadhane aviklava matir bhutva harim eva dhyasmaret. If persons engaged in the devotional service of Lord Hari are unable to obtain food and shelter despite their attempts, or if their acquisitions are lost or destroyed, they should, without anxiety, absorb their hearts deeply in the thought of Lord Hari. So this is, I mean, it's quite intense, right? Quite an extreme. But it's telling you, like, this point here, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's illumination is really showing us the essence here. Like, what is the main objective of our existence, right? To always remember and to never forget. To always remember the Lord and to never forget the Lord. That's what's important, right? That's what's important. And so whatever situation we are facing, we want to try to keep that in perspective, right? That we want to continue to feel our relationship with the Lord, right? And yes, it is our duty to try to maintain, a life in this world, at a certain standard. But at certain times that may be challenged, right? At certain times we may have to struggle. We may have to face some difficulty. But is that the end of the story? Or is that some temporary experience to help us go deeper into a life of surrender? So, these types of challenges, they also give us the opportunity to test the measure of our faith, right? That, are we fair weather friends? Are we fair weather friends with Krishna? No. Is prosperity gospel our conception? No, sometimes there may be hardship, but the love is still there, and that is what is truly important. And what we're being given, what this gift is goes much deeper than anything of this world. And so, we can see these moments of challenges as a test in that regard. It's an opportunity for us to try and go deeper in our faith and to take shelter, right? And take the opportunity to go closer to the Lord, pray to the Lord, please help me. Take these opportunities to increase our feeling of neediness and dependence, right? Oh Lord, please help me. Please help me to have the proper vision. Please provide me for shelter. Please take care of me. Please allow me to have an arrangement so I can go deeper in my life of devotion. Right? That's ultimately our prayer. So we want to, day by day, we want to cling more and more to the shelter of Guru and Vaishnava and the Lord, right? And so it is like that martial art jujitsu, right? Where you flip the situation around, right? Like in that, there's this technique in jujitsu where you use the strength of your opponent against them, right? Like a trick, right? So similarly, it's like a ninja, right? And so in Krishna consciousness, we're like spiritual opportunists, right? We can use every situation to try to go deeper into our relationship with the Lord. Oh, Krishna, you thought you could get rid of me so easily, huh? You thought that my faith would be disturbed so easily and I would run away. No, no, you're not getting rid of me so easily. No, no, I'm still here. I'm still yours. You still got to deal with me. Unconditional love, right? That's Mahaprabhu's program. That's what Mahaprabhu has established as the greatest ideal of life. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. And ultimately we need, we need all of these difficulties. And I can say in my own life, every time I faced some great challenge, I've learned to not get too disturbed, because what I've experienced time and time again is that whenever I get through that, there's some wonderful gift waiting on the other side. One door closes, the other door opens, right? And, for example, say some great insult comes to you. That's to keep your ego down, because you're going to get so much praise very soon. So you needed that insult. Keep yourself on the ground, right? So we really need all of these challenges, right? If we experience some difficulty economically, then when we have some abundance, we really appreciate it. We appreciate the value of it, right? Like how many of these super wealthy, like especially some of these kids, born into wealth, they have no real, they're so disconnected from reality and from the suffering that others go through. It's very sad, right? There's this one description, some of you know it, I'm sure, in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, of the Avanti Brahmin. He's actually, I'll pause our screen share for a minute. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, this tells the story of this Avanti Brahmin. And he's actually interesting because he's mentioned sometimes as a precedent for Vaishnava sannyas, right? Because normally sannyas was thought of as a Mayavad thing in the impersonal line, right? But this Avanti Brahmin, it describes in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, there's this chapter, how he has a household and that he's running, and he has some type of work, and he has, money coming in. And then towards the end of his life, he decides to take sannyas, and he gives up his family life. And then the Bhagavatam describes how his whole family, like now that he's no longer a breadwinner, they all insult him, reject him, mistreat him in various ways. And then eventually he's like living like a beggar on the street, and, a sannyasi beggar. And even then, somehow he suffers so much mistreatment from society. And there's descriptions of persons abusing him and teasing him in very nasty ways. Like there's mentioned someone urinates in his begging bowl, and all kinds of horrible things. And there's one place Srila Maharaj is talking about this, and he makes this very good point that, this Avanti Brahmin, he's a devotee of Krishna. He's a great devotee of Krishna. And yet Krishna is allowing him to be treated in this horrible way. And Srila Maharaj said, because it is necessary, because it was necessary for his future development. Right? And so similarly, we may have to face so many things in our lives of surrender, but we want to try to keep that bigger vision, right? That all these challenges, difficulties, are coming to help us. They're preparing us for something much bigger, right? And the more that we can feel the value of this great gift, then the less we'll be disturbed by all the things in the physical plane that come to challenge us, right? When we have some clear perspective, then these things will become smaller, right? So we want to be open. What is ultimately we want to move in consonance with the Lord's flow. You know? So we want to try to be open and see, where is that flow going? Where is it taking us? What is the Lord's plan, right? What is the Lord's plan? Just let go of our own expectations, right? Be prepared for something else. And if we can do that, then we will be free from anxiety. We will feel the joy of the protection of the Lord, the guardianship of the Lord. But it is certainly not easy, that is for sure. That we're all in it together. That's another thing we can remember. As we are trying, so many others are also trying. As we are struggling, so many others are also struggling. As we are trying to learn our lessons, so many others are also trying to learn their lessons. But we, as our Gurudev would say, we will not be derailed, right? We will, no matter what happens, we will remember what is our one goal in life, right? That is Krishna consciousness. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Vishaka.
Thank you for sharing, Gangalila. Tungarasa has something here. It is stated that the Lord's maintenance of his devotees isn't, wait, there's something wrong with the grammar here. I'm a bit confused. Here is stated that Lord's maintenance of devotees isn't presupposes maintenance of the material, or their different stages of maintenance according to their consciousness. Well, let's put it like this. And this is another thing that came to mind in our discussion just now. The Lord will not give us any problem that we don't have the capacity to solve. That's another thing. The Lord's not going to put something on our plate that we don't have the capacity to deal with. Right? That's one thing to remember. So answering what Tungarasa is bringing up here, the Lord's maintenance of his devotees does not presuppose maintenance of the material aspect. However, if someone's on a level of faith where they need some support in that department, then I would say he would provide that, because they're not ready. Like the Babajis, they'll live under trees, right? Gorky Shore used to live under an upturned boat on the banks of the Ganges and drink water out of skulls, right? Jagannath Das, was it Jagannath Das Babaji or was it Vamsi Das Babaji, climbed up a tree running after Krishna and Balaram in a mood of Sakya Rasa, right? In his divine vision in this world, seeing Krishna Balaram chasing him up a tree, falls out of the tree and breaks his back. Does he even register that? No, because he's so deeply situated in such a high plane of consciousness, right? So that's something to remember, right? That the Lord won't give us anything that we're not ready to handle. And there's a very beautiful expression of the British poet, English poet John Milton, right? Christian poet. He wrote this Paradise Lost, this epic poem describing the fall of Satan from heaven, right? And Adam and Eve and all of this. And so there was one at the end of his life, he was in the, I don't know what maybe Marie knows, he was in the middle of working on on something like his final masterpiece, and he started to go blind. And he was devastated because he's in the middle of this important work. This is his offering, right, to the Lord and to his fellow Christians, and he started to lose his eyesight. And so he thought, how am I going to finish this work? This is so important. And he came to this realization, and there's one, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj actually quotes this, and he says something like, "Doth God day labor give, light deny?" Something like that. Like, God's giving me something which requires light, and he will deny me light. You know, in other words, is God going to give me a task which he won't also give me the capacity to carry out? Like, no, it is not so. And he's feeling such conviction in his heart, oh, this is my duty. This is my God-given work, my offering. And this is the Lord's will for me to complete. So if I know that, then I must also have the faith that the Lord will give me the capacity to carry that out. And ultimately he was able to carry that out. So this is something that we can remember, that, yeah, it is true, everyone is at a different stage of faith, right? Everyone has different needs according to their stage of faith. You know, Shukadev Goswami's roaming naked in the forests, right? Just meditating upon Brahman, right? Even before you get to Krishna, you don't need to come to Krishna consciousness. You know, so many yogis, right? They can live without anything. Very simple. So that's like, you know. So everyone, you know, but everyone has different needs. Everyone is at a different stage of faith, has different capacity, right? And so we want to have the faith. The Lord, he knows what is our needs, and he's going to support us according to what is our faith. He knows what we're capable of. And sometimes he'll push our limits. That's another thing too. Sometimes he'll push us out of our comfort zone, shake us up a bit. We got to be ready for that. Got to be ready. Don't get too comfortable, right? Being too comfortable isn't necessarily helpful for progressive spiritual development. In fact, being a little uncomfortable, I would say, is more conducive to spiritual progress, revelation, right? So there's a dance going on, right? There's a dance going on. We need to try and move with that. Hear the music. Hear how the music is playing. It is playing, and the dance is going on. We want to try to connect with that. See where it's going. Because we do want to be part of that dance. We do want to be part of that music at all costs. So yeah, it's gonna get a little uncomfortable sometimes. Right? That's all part of the dance. You know, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he liked very much this comment of Achyutananda, right? Achyutananda Prabhu, one of the early disciples of Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, and who he sent, Srila Swami Maharaj sent him to Srila Sridhar Maharaj in Navadvip for training. And there was this incident where he was sent to stay at one temple for a few days, and through some strange series of events, he ended up not having food for 2 or 3 days. And he could have easily come back to the main temple, right, and had some prasadam, but he just tolerated it. And then later on, when Srila Sridhar Maharaj heard about it, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, well, why did you stay quiet like that? And Achyutananda replied, oh, Krishna's dancing. He said, sometimes he's dancing this way and that way, and sometimes I may get stepped on, and that's okay. The Lord's dance is going on. I have no problem. Right? Let his dance continue. Oh, I love this. I love this comment of Marie here. The Lord is a bit of a drama queen about things. He would much rather rescue us in unexpected ways from horrific devastation than just pay the rent in the first place. It's a better demonstration of his care for us to be shared with others. Also, I'm guessing it's more fun. It's actually totally true. The Lord likes to be known as Patit Pavam, like the rescuer of the fallen. And in fact, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, there are many reasons which we can give for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he gives one that may be very unexpected, that he says, from the highest vision, we will say that the reason this whole material world exists is so that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can come and have his pastimes of rescuing the fallen souls. How can you have a hero if there's no one to be saved, right? So this ultimately, we can see this as part of his loving play with his devotees, right? Where yes, he likes a bit of drama. He wants to come in and rescue us, and all these movements, he's deepening our feeling of faith and appreciation, right? Oh, I was on the last brink, and then all of a sudden swooped in out of nowhere, right? And I was saved. And my savior came. Sungarasa says, let's play our role then. Yeah. My mother was saying to me once when I visited her last year, she was like, sometimes we have to deliberately put ourselves into trouble, like deliberately put ourselves in really difficult situation, and that will attract the Lord's attention. And the Lord has to come. Guru has to come and rescue us. They have to take care of us. Like very, very earnestly, she said this to me, like it was a conspiracy, have to plot it out, It's real, right? And then you have Kunti Devi at the extreme end of things, praying for trouble, because that brings the Lord near. Because she feels that so deeply, that what is actually the paramount thing is to have the association of Krishna. And if being in trouble means the association of Krishna, then let me be in trouble every day of the year. Right? She's got her priorities. Śaraṇāgati, how wonderful is Śaraṇāgati. But again, right, many of these things we don't need. This was a big topic yesterday. We don't want to imitate, right? So we're discussing these things and we're appreciating them, but we can also, be happily at our level, right? And we worship these higher moods of surrender, and we also accept where we are. We're not forcing anything. And Krishna also is not expecting us to force anything. He may, there's like a sweet spot, right, of being pushed out of our comfort zone. There's a difference, between being forced into something you're not ready for, right? So we want to remember that too. The Lord has that type of affectionate care for us. Okay, I'm gonna end this for today. Any last comments from anyone? Should we close there? Real Śaraṇāgati, real talk. I love it. This is great. This is what I needed to hear. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All the assembled devotees, sincere seekers ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Itai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol. See you all.
Jai.
Jai. Haribo.